Hi there. Okay, we're at video number 63, but this will be video number 25 of module 3. And in this video we're going to be using the money flow index. You might be familiar with this one from previous videos in this module and the one in module 2 as well. Now you might recall the basic rule here, if you're using the MFI on its own. Also take note that we're on a 4-hour time frame as well. Okay, is that we have two extra levels in there. We have a 55 level and a 45 level, and one level is the buy level, which is the 55, and the sell level is the 45. Okay, but how they are managed is based on where this black line begins. So we're looking for somewhere where it starts from the top and then comes down to hit that sell level to actually warrant that sell. Okay, so we don't really want it to come from below and then come back up and then back down again. That's no good. We want it to be in one full movement. Alright, so here is another one where it's come from top, and then you can see it's actually hit that sell trigger there. Okay, now here you can see where it's come from the bottom and then it's gone up towards the top, and then it takes the 55 level out, which warrants a buy. Okay, now we're going to use the same rules, but we're also going to use it in conjunction with the Adx indicator. Now more often than not, it will tell you wherever this area here is, and these levels are always going to be showing, like for instance this is a sell trade, this is going to be there anyway. Alright, this is a buy trade and this ADX is going to be above. So we don't really need to worry about where it's actually crossed, because these levels here will tell us that. Once we've got to these levels, what's important is where the ADX line, the signal line, or the strength line, beg your pardon, is where it's actually sitting, and it needs to be above that 30 level. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look. Here, like normally, so like, you know, if you're going back in normal videos, you can see where we've actually crossed, where this one, we've got an ADX cross. There was another area here right there. Okay, you can see that the ADX there is basically gone above the 30 level. Okay, and the market didn't really do anything, it went sideways. What we're looking for is that at this particular point we want the ADX to be quite high. Okay, now in this particular instance, if we just use the ADX on its own, although the ADX line went quite high, nothing came out of it. So we're going to use the MFI to help us pinpoint some areas of movement where we can get in and actually get something out of it. Alright, so let's go ahead and see if we can find some areas in the market where that actually starts to appear. Okay, here's an interesting area. There we go. I'm looking at this area right there, but I just want to see if it lines up. It doesn't line up exactly, so we're going to need to have some kind of allowance rules in here. We can see we came from above into a downwards fashion, plus these, you know, the black lines definitely above 30 there. So let's see if we can find out if this rule would need to be applied every single time for the allowance. When here's kind of within 1 or 2 bars, so there's it seems like we might need to make an allowance for this one. Now the allowance needs to be, you know, one of those that you can accept and it's not outside the risk zone, you know. Okay. Alright, so yeah, it looks like within 1 or 2 bars it would be your qualifying area, so this would be okay for a short trade. Obviously use your support and resistance levels to gauge whether you can actually go short or long on that particular trade as it comes at you. Let's take a look here as well. You could maybe be even more lenient with the rules and decide that whether the distance from where it actually crosses, see we got an area right here where it crosses for the first time, but it doesn't essentially have the ADX above this 30 line. So you might want to wait, this trigger is actually 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 bars there before the main signal comes in when the ADX is hit. See where the ADX hits above 30. So it's kind of like 4 bars away. So you might say to yourself, okay, well this kind of distance, the 4 bars, might be within my trigger range or my alert range, and that if within 4 bars, that the very next bar on after this segment has been completed, if that black bar, black line appears above 30 line, then go long. Like here's another instance. I can show you another example. Here is an area where the market, this is a 2 bar allowance there we need to, because this doesn't really line up straight away, but you can see where it's come across from above down, but it's not really the kind of above, this line doesn't really come from above. First of all, it's kind of sort of hovering midway. Anything in a midway you don't really want to use because that's like a sideways territory, it's like a consolidation area. Alright, but we do get this mark right here that asks us to sell as well, but it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars away. So you might not have gone into that, and just as well you can see the longer that you've waited, the less the outcome came out afterwards. So the less lenient you are with the rules, the stronger the signal will be. Okay, so that 4 looked okay in that particular instance, but you might need to go back and take a look at other areas in the market to see if that allowance is okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at this one here. That's fine. I mean, here we've come from below, and this is for a buy trade, so the MFI has come from below, so it's more or less hovering along that 20 line, and then it hits that 55 line. When it hits that 55 line, the ADX line is above 30, so that's okay, and coincidentally this is also a green candle, so that's alright. So we could try that one, make sure that the support and resistance levels are okay, alright, as we've done so before, and then if they are okay, we will take that trade. Here is another area. This is where the sell signal appears. Again, the ADX is above 30, looks good. It's also a red candle as well. Again, look for support and resistance levels. If they're okay, then we'll go ahead and place that trade. I'm still trying to find the other example where the ADX, here you go, I think this might be one. Okay, and where that kind of crosses okay, so you can see that there's only like 2 bars inside there isn't 3, but you count the bar that you first put down, so there's only 3 bars, so that works out well. I mean, eventually it does come down. But again, use your support and resistance levels and what have you, and gauge whether you need to open that trade or not. Let's see if we can find any more. Okay, there's kind of like a 2 bar allowance because it doesn't really fit in there. and then shortly later after some bars. So within 3 bars it's okay, go short. Again, be cautious of support and resistance levels, and that's basically about it. It's not one of the best strategies out there, obviously. The one before this was a pretty good video. So yeah, give that a try. Alright, I wouldn't really expect you to sort of study this one for like 2-3 days. Just play around with it, so maybe for 1 or 2 days. If you like it, keep it. If you don't like it, move on to the next one to see if any of these other strategies actually come in handy for you. Alright, so I'm just going to remove some of those out of the way. Alright, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye for now.